Hello everyone, welcome to another video in the series of Azure ML Prompt Flow, and in this video we will see how we can chat with our PDF using Azure AI search and ML Prompt Flow. So in order to perform this entire thing, there are a few steps which you need to take care. So the very first thing we need is that we should have an active Azure subscription, and once we have that Azure subscription we can go ahead and create an instance of Azure OpenAI. Then we need to create an instance of Azure Search. And the third thing we need is to create an instance of machine learning workspace, because that is the place where we are going to map all these things and create our flow. Then inside the machine learning workspace, we need to create connection strings for both our LLM and Azure AI Search. Then we will be creating vector index and we'll setting up the flow. So these are the few things which we need to perform in order to finish this activity. So before that, let me quickly point you to the PDF which I am going to read. So this is the sample PDF which I just grabbed it from the internet, and it is freely available. If you want, you can also just download it. Right now I am taking this with just 2 pages, but you can try the same activity with the larger PDF as well. Okay, having said that, I am on my Azure portal, and first of all what we need to do is you need to create a resource group, and in my case I have already created a one in the East US, so I'm not going to recreate it. Then as per my steps, the very first thing you need is you need to go ahead and create an instance of Azure OpenAI. So you can search for Azure OpenAI, click on create, and here you need to furnish all these details and click on next. So it will go ahead and create an instance of Azure OpenAI for you. Next thing we need is, so I'm not going to create it, like I said, it is already available here. I have created some time back. The next thing we need is an instance of Azure AI Search. So for that, I'm going to say search for Azure AI Search, and this is the option which you will get, the very first one. So click on create. Here I will be using the same resource group, and let's name it as Azure AI Search. I will be selecting the correct region. I will prefer to stay with East. And pricing tier, you can choose any, because whatever the pricing tier you are choosing, your speed or the chatbot speed depends on that till very high extent. But it's just for the demo purpose, so I'm going with the free tier. Click on review and create. And click on create. So it will go ahead and create the search instance for us. Okay, meanwhile it is getting created, what we can do is we can quickly go back to our resource group and create an instance of machine learning workspace. So I clicked on create, then I would search for Azure machine learning, and the very first thing here it is coming is Azure machine learning. So click on create, and here you need to again provide the name. So I would just stick with this name. Select the region. If you want, you can change the storage account name. If you have pre-existing accounts, then definitely feel free to map them here, but I'm just going with the fresh one as I don't have pre-existing ones. So click on create. So this is the entire end-to-end flow which I'm trying to see. There are many steps which will be time consuming, so I'm planning to pause my video there and then come up once those steps are done. So, but let's see how far we can go with this. So it is creating an instance of Azure machine learning workspace. And I can see it is still in progress. Let's give it a few more seconds and it would be done. as you can see, it is done. Let's go to the resource, and here you will find the URL of your studio. So I just click on that, and we are under our studio. So next thing, I will click on prompt flow. And like I said, our fourth step was to create connections for both LLM and search. So let's go ahead and create connections first. So click on connections, click on create, and here I am selecting Azure OpenAI. So we need to provide some name here. So I would say I need to select my subscription. I need to select my account to which I want the account which I want to use here as an OpenAI connection. Then these are the things which I need to supply. So I will quickly pause my video, furnish all these details, and save this instance. So you can see that a connection got created over here. Next thing is we need to create a connection for Azure AI search. So similar thing we need to do here. I need to furnish details, so I will quickly pause the video, furnish these, and we'll come back. So you can see that instances got created. So you can see that the instances got created. Here 2 of those are listed. Next thing is we need to go and create an instance, or you can say we need to configure our vector index. So for that, we will go to vector index tab, click on create. And here we need to provide some unique name for this. So let's give it some name. I would say this one. Then here you have 2 options. Would you like to go with the local folder or dataset? So if you already have dataset ready, you can just browse it. In my case, I have the PDF in my folder. So I'm just providing the name of path of that folder, and it will ask you to click on upload. So here you can see the supported file formats are MD, TXT, HTML, HTM, PY, Doc, DocX, PPT, PDF, XLS, and any other files will be ignored during. So apart from these, whatever files you are uploading, or if those files are part of this folder, then those will be simply skipped. Now here you need to select the vector store. So there are 2, but I will go with Azure AI Search Index. And then once you have created the connection string, you will see that it is already pre-populating for you. So click on next. But if you're not creating the search string, there is another way to do it. You can just click on new, and it will give you the wizard to just create your connection string. So okay, and here like we have already created a connection for Azure ML's Azure OpenAI, so it is pre-populated for us. Now here you need to create the instance, so it's up to you what you want to take. I would prefer to go with the serverless, and let's go with the minimum one, which is 25 cents per hour. Click on next, and let's click on create. Now this is the step which is going to take time, so perhaps once it gets kicked off, I need to pause this video and then we'll come back. In between, I will keep showing you what is happening. So here you can see it is in running state, and there are many more nodes we are expecting on the right hand side. And on the left hand side, you can see that the source data is my file, which is sample PDF. There is a data type of this file, the file type, and the size of my file. So let's give it few seconds, or in fact it is going to take minutes, and once it is done, I will come back and show you what is the current status. Meanwhile, if you want to know what all things it is doing internally or under the hood, you can just click on the job details, and it will give you a beautiful flowchart kind of thing, wherein you can see what all things it is doing. So these are the steps which are executed under the hood. Here you can see that it is taking your input, constructing the chunk, and then for those chunks it is generating the embeddings and then updating that in your index. So these are the various steps it is doing internally, and that's the reason it is going to take few minutes to complete this step. Like we are on the same page, so let me quickly show you one more place where you can check the status or track the status. So you can go to vector index, and here it is showing it as a running state. So once it is ready, then only we can go ahead with our next steps. So let's wait here. So here you can see it is done. All these nodes are green, and if you will refresh it, you can click on this job details, and you will see that all the nodes got executed. So once this is done, what you can do is you can go back to Azure portal, and here we can see whether the index is really created or not. That is another way to validate the same thing. So you can go to indexes, and this is the one which we just created. So here you can see it created 2 documents out of 1 PDF which we supplied, and these are the fields which it extracted and tried to create. So you have a content, URL, file path, title, JSON string, and the content vector. And out of all these, it is searchable on the field content, title, and the vector data. And you can see the dimension of the vector is 1536. So we are almost towards our flow. Now, if you will click on the flows, you will see that one flow got created automatically. So now if you want, you can use this. Otherwise, you can go ahead and create the new flow using this create dialog. But I would prefer to go with this one because most of the things are already set up for us. So it would be a very less work for us to do now. So here is the beautiful graph which got created. Let me shift these nodes this side. Okay, so and this is the graph or the flow which got created. Now here we need to select and configure few things. So before that, let me quickly start the runtime. Now if you don't want to start this runtime because this is still a preview feature, so if you are going for the production feature or production application, then in that case it is always suggested to go ahead and create the instance using this compute, which is on the left hand side. You can see under the manage, but it's just for demo purpose, so I'm automatically triggering this one from here. So again, it's going to take close to 2 minutes, but before that we can do rest of the things. So let's go here and set our models, deployment name, and all those. So I'm selecting GPT-3.5 Turbo. We can make max token to let's keep it 5. Let's keep it 1000 itself. And then here we can select the response type. Let's keep it text. Okay, and I will quickly validate it. But yeah, we need to wait for the runtime to be up and running before we validate anything. So I will quickly see what all things we have here. So here it is using 3 variants. So I would rather go with just one variant because I don't want to experiment with different prompts. It's just for demo purpose, so one is fine for us. So but if you're looking forward to investigate or analyze your output based on the different prompts, then don't delete these ones and let's go with the 3 variants what you have. But even you can add more variants if you want, but I'm going with just the bare minimum, which is single variant. So let's give it few more seconds and we have the things ready. I will update this as well. Let's configure this. Okay. Rest all things we can keep as it is. So it is still starting. It's gonna take a minute or so now. So meanwhile we are here and it's taking time. I would like to point you to my playlist because once it is deployed and we have tested it internally in this portal, next thing is to deploy the flow, evaluate it, and get the Python code out of it so that we can extend it more or we can use the same code in our VS Code. So if you want to learn how to deploy and evaluate, I will quickly point you to my series. So this is my channel. Here I have various playlists. So this is the one, Azure ML Prompt Flow. You can just click on this playlist and here you will find how to deploy and consume the application and how to evaluate LLM models. So these are the two things. And apart from that, there is also a video on how to set up VS Code. So if you are going with all these three videos, you should have your code up and ready in your VS Code, where you can even test it locally without pushing everything to this browser. So looks like it is still going on. We need to give a few more minutes here. That is done. Our setup is up and ready. So let's go ahead and quickly validate all the things. So first of all, I will finish this part. So this node is good. Let's try this one. So what it is doing, it is just checking whether the parameters which we have mapped here are correct or not with respect to the parameters which these functions are taking as an input. So if you will see here the search result, this is the input parameter and this input parameter is mapped to this. So all these basic things I have already covered in my earlier videos. So if you're not sure how these parameters are mapped with the input, then just check out my earlier videos and you will get pretty much good idea about that. So looks like we validated everything. And if you want to know what all these individual nodes are doing, then you can just click on this. On the left hand side, you will get those nodes and you can have a look. Let me save it. Meanwhile, I will quickly have a look at my PDF so that we can ask some questions. Okay. So let's close this and I will click on chat. And here I will ask a question, what is Prince? Now, like I said, I took the free tier, so it may take time for me here. It may take like few extra seconds. So here you can see it came up with a response. Prince is a computer program that converts XML and HTML into PDF. It is a simple yet very powerful tool and it creates beautiful documents. So here is the source from where this response got generated. And here it is taking telling you how many tokens it is taking and how much time actually it took to reply to our question. So next I will ask, does it support HTTP? And meanwhile I will draft another question. Okay, it will not allow unless it will reply. Yes, it has built-in support of HTTP. Let me ask one final question without describing them. So this is the final question and after that we are almost done. Cool. So there are 18 features which it lists down. So let me quickly validate it once. So these hyphens or the hash are nothing but the features. So here you can see there are 18 features. So it means that this thing is working very well as of now. So I really want you to give it a try with your PDF. So it will, if you're doing it with Prompt Flow, you need not to do much by your own, like how to create index and how to map it back to our prompt flow. So all these things are very easy when you are using this prompt flow. I hope you enjoyed watching this and do let me know if you are facing any kind of issues with the execution of this one. Thanks for watching.